What's up, everyone? I'm gonna just set a title. There we go. And pin it. That's weird. It doesn't let me pin it, but no worries. So, I'm going to start with how this energy is going to affect the first house and break this down from my own whatever comes through as I explain this. So the first house is all about our ego and our form of identification, and basically, so with Uranus and Taurus going here, I feel like we are going to be having to plant new ways of who we identify ourselves, or what we know ourselves to be as an individual. And we're basically either going to have to completely re-identify with who we are now than who we used to be in the past. So it's going to be completely different from what we used to look like or think we were. And by the way, I'm talking about how Uranus and Taurus is going to affect the first house in your chart. So, and you can figure out what house Uranus and Taurus is retrograding in your personal chart. You can just go to Astro Matrix. It's an app, and then it will allow you to see where the current planetary transits are passing over in your personal chart. So, hello everyone. When it's affecting the first house, so our whole sense of identity is going to be needed. We're going to be working to change it and evolve it in a new way. So planting new seeds in how we see ourselves as an individual. So let's say, like, in the past, we thought we were just, someone that worked at this job because you've been working there for like 20 years or some shit. And so you just know yourself to be like a really good carpenter. Like, you just are that awesome fucking carpenter that's the best at that shit. And that's who you know yourself to be. But going forward, that identity is going to go much deeper. So we're going to see ourselves in a completely new way that's on a higher, in a higher perspective. So, like, let's say, instead of just seeing yourself as a carpenter, you're actually seeing that you're a multidimensional being. And there's many different things that you are good at and you like about the world. And you could be like a father, and you could be a son. Like, you're so many different things. And you could be a teacher, or like on something that you do in your free time. So you're realizing that there's like all these different ways to identify yourself. And so that's going to be kind of the situation that you're going to have to go through with Uranus and Taurus in the first house. And that's going to be because it's retrograding for, then I don't actually know how long it's retrograding, but it just started retrograding. Hello, everyone. Take a deep breath. I'm explaining right now. Let's see if I can pin this title, because it's not pinning for some reason, but it's up there. Okay. So Uranus and Taurus, I'm going through all the houses, or at least trying to get through like a few, or as much as I can. So Uranus and Taurus in the second house is going to have to do with your security, your sense of comfort, security, and your values, your personal values. And so that's going to mean that this current energy is going to challenge you in really question you, like, what is really important to you? Like, is it those, $2 hot Cheetos that at the store, like, that you go to get every day? Is it, like, or is it is it deeper than that? That's just a funny example, but like, it's gonna question, like, do I care about these $300 shoes, or do I care about my peace of mind in having a space that's calm and inviting for me to be in and exist within? So it's gonna rework, like, where you think that your value that you have, your money, should actually go to. So check your Astro Matrix app, if you have it, to see where Uranus and Taurus is retrograding in your chart, to know how this will be affecting you, this current energy. So, should I go deeper with that? I feel like it's gonna feel extra intense for these people, because it's gonna feel extra slow, because it's in the second house, which is something that requires patience, and for people to sit back and actually just move through life and take their time and conserve your energy, because Taurus is all about seeing the beauty in the smaller things, and the things that it's hard to see beauty. So that's kind of the goal, is for these people to learn how to, like, value things that are right in front of them, instead of being like, oh, I want, like, something, that's I haven't bought yet, that's like at the store already, and I don't have it, but I want it, but I already have all this food at home that I could eat, like, this is kind of, we need to learn how to appreciate what we have already. And it's not gonna, and it might be completely different than what we used to do, where we always had all these desires and felt like we had to go outside of ourselves to really fulfill our energy and feel content in the present moment. And so Uranus retrograde in Taurus in the second house, people are really going to have to learn how to just enjoy, like, what they have already around them. Like, look at the beautiful trees and the food that you already have, and the water, and just having a home or a place to be in and reside, in a bed to sleep in at night. You know what I mean? So that's what it's called. It's rearranging your values so on the things that really matter, instead of it being like needing to please your ego and seem like you're someone that has to eat out every meal, and like you don't eat at home because you're just like too good for that or something. I don't know. Anyway, Let's move on to the third house. So, third house is all about communication with, people that are close to you, in close proximity. It's just the technical skills when it comes to communication. So it's going like more in detail with how we communicate to make it more effective, and so that the individuals really can understand each other on an intellectual level or on a mental level. So I feel like with Uranus and Taurus retrograding in the third house in your chart, I feel like you're gonna really have to look at like how you used to communicate with people that were in your friend group or that you knew from your family or your friends, and you're gonna have to like kind of reanalyze that and see like how was I coming across to this other person so that I could really connect with them and for them to kind of really understand what I'm saying. And so I feel like for those people, what's going to be helpful going forward is finding new ways to communicate, maybe by really observing how you're coming across and how the other person is feeling or how they're receiving what you're saying, and if they're actually receiving it in a positive way or if it's helping them, like instead of communicating and then unconsciously hurting them in some way because you didn't really realize it. So with Uranus and Taurus, we're in this area, we're planting new seeds in our communication skills so that we are able to like really connect with any kind of person, any person at all, because we realize we can remove all the unconscious programming that comes up when we're like connecting with others, so that we can actually provide love for others without them receiving it in a negative way, and then like, because there's a deeper art to this kind of thing where like I'm a Pisces, so I know that like when you say something, what really matters is how they're feeling when you say it, instead of what the actual content of it is that you're saying. So actually, this is a perfect question because I'm about to move into Uranus and Taurus retrograding in the fourth house. And that's the emotional Cancer house of home and family and our instinctual emotional processing of life. All right, so that was a good segue. So for these individuals, and by the way, if you want to know how to, or what, if you want to know where Uranus and Taurus is retrograding in your chart, I would check out Astro Matrix. It's an app and it's really good for figuring out, like having both charts over, like connecting. Whew, I'm sorry. I apologize. My communication skills are still developing because I, grew up with a lot of suppression from my community, so I'm still like working on it. My Uranus in Taurus is retrograding my fifth house. So I'm working on that Leo energy of just presenting myself. All right. So when Uranus and Taurus retrograde in the 4th house, I feel like you're going to have to, it's going to be a harder one, I feel like, because you're going to have to work on the ways in which you emotionally process life and the things around you. So instead of maybe like emotionally like going on a really dangerous exploration, or maybe like eating a lot of food because you're feeling like emotionally overwhelmed by certain external situations, you're going to have to figure out better ways of processing that emotion that aren't super detrimental to your life, you know? Or like things that are dangerous that could put you at risk, because with it, when it comes to emotion, we tend to like just take action, and there's not much like thought before, so it's like we have to really be present with ourselves when we're feeling certain emotions, and really work with them and allow them to flow into better things. Because yeah, because there's going to be a lot of emotional tension that we're getting from life right now in 2020, especially going into the fall. It's going to get a lot more real. It's going to get a lot more intense and rough, because things got to get worse before they're going to get better. So we just got to be really present with ourselves during this retrograde to see like how this is triggering us in our emotional psyche, and use that and really work to use that emotional tide to channel it into things that are way more productive, or just healing in any aspect. Whether it's going like doing something that's healthy, like exercise, or using that energy to like do things on the internet, or like learn more, play video games, or do something that's fun for you. That's way better use of that energy, instead of using it in a way that could be potentially harmful to your life and other people around you, like drinking alcohol, or smoking cigarettes. I don't know. Like there's nothing really wrong with any particular behavior. I'm past like just good or bad duality. I'm more just looking at like when you do a certain behavior, how do you feel after you do it? So the goal is to make sure that you're doing things that can reverse that emotional energy, and from it being something that makes you more depressed to something that can actually raise your vibration. And there's certain things that we know that are more helpful to increase our vibration, and it's usually things that make us happy, or eating as raw foods that have a lot of energy in them, or doing lots of breath work and getting sunlight, things like that. Okay, so let's move into the Uranus and Taurus in the 5th house. So that's my current energy right now. I mean, my actual natal energy is in this. My Uranus is in the 2nd house, but for this retrograde, it's in the 5th house, and it really has to do with like the way that you can present yourself to others, and giving yourself the validation that you need to go forward with life, and to say the things that you need to say, and to speak up for the things that you want to share with others. And so, like, personally, in my past, I was like usually shut down for like things that I would say, or I was bullied, or just I didn't get that acceptance from my family that I needed to know that I was doing a good job, and to like be proud of myself in the heart space, because like it's the fifth house energy is like that validation you get from your father, like knowing, like that pat on the back, like good job, like you did it, like go kill him, like you got it, like not actually, but like like go get him, like you doing great. That's like the energy I think of when I think of the fifth house. And so we're planting new seeds here, so I'm really working on like presenting myself to anyone in anything, like I have to, and remain in that state of confidence, and to provide myself with the validation that I need to continually move forward and speak what is on my heart. So, and just to present to a group of people, or like just anyone, being able to present yourself is fifth house. Okay, so let's go to sixth house. So when Uranus and Taurus is retrograding in the fifth house, or sixth house, I would say that the way that you, I feel like your routines, the way that you analyze your environment, the interactions that you have with others, is going to be reworked, where you have to like actually either look deeper or see things from different angles, and to really get a deeper understanding of what's really going on in certain situations that happen. Or to be more to set different types of boundaries. I think that might also be a situation that comes up. Or the way that we treat our physical being. So instead of doing other certain habitual behaviors that we used to do in the past, these people are really going to be having to try different routines that are more suitable for them, and where they actually want to go. So yeah, they're gonna pretty much be learning how to really cleanse their being in a more authentic way. So instead of them thinking that they're like detoxing, when they might really just still be taking in more toxins, like that's going to have to be reanalyzed, because what's like really going on, like when it comes to our consumption and with our digestion, because Virgo, sixth house, has to do with our processing. So what we're processing and what we're consuming, I don't think it matters, like, if you want to be, like, healthy or not. That's a choice. And that's, like, everyone is a sovereign being, and they have their free will to choose what they want to do. But if you want to, like, you have to, there is one truth. There is one truth. And, you know, if you want to, like, comply with the truth and live with the truth, then you have to act in accordance with it, as well as acknowledge it in a mental way. All right. Whew. Let's move into Uranus and Taurus in the 7th house. So this is about partnership, and, you know, it's about being able to balance differing perspectives of the same thing. So, I feel like these people are going to be having to work on including other perspectives to coincide with their own in the same space, you know? And it's going to be challenging because, like, mentally you're going to be like, ugh, like, no, I don't, because it's Uranus and Taurus it's a slow process and it's kind of rough. You know, we're planting seeds in these areas. So, you know, we're going to have, like, I feel like with the 6th house with Virgo, it's like you have to plant physical seeds. But with the 7th house in Libra, it's like, it's mental seeds. So it actually might be easier because you're just kind of changing your way of thinking. And the way that you process situations when you're when you're around others, so that you guys can, like, be in the same space without one person being all worked up because the other person isn't the same as them. And because if someone's getting all worked up because the other person is, like, not the same as them, then they're just losing energy. It's like draining. It's just draining your energy. Awesome. So, yeah, so we would look at the house that Uranus is retrograding in, and I would check it, Astromatrix. It's an app that allows you to see both charts, one overlying the other. But yeah, so I was on Uranus and Taurus in the 2nd house, or in the 7th house, and you know, I feel like with this energy, you may even experience, like, new friends that come into your life or a new, like, partner or romantic relationship where you have to really learn how to balance both your differing viewpoints and belief systems that you have subconsciously. So, you know, if one person isn't willing to find that balance and find that peacefulness in the space, then you either have to work through that and really work through it, and sit with that and, like, figure out what it is, like, that is happening that might be pushing that person away from you, and kind of really analyze, like, what's going on with them, so that you can figure out, like, how you can find a middle ground and find that compromise where you can connect, where it's like, okay, like, you're Republican and I'm Democrat, and we hate each other because we're different viewpoints, but we both breathe air and we both have a heart that beats every day, and, like, I like eating, you know, I like eating and you like eating. We seem pretty similar though. And that's going to be kind of like what the energy you might be feeling as you go through Uranus and Taurus retrograding in the 7th house. All right, so let's move to the 8th house. So I feel like with this energy, it might be a little bit more, it's going to be more intense because it's, you know, the house of birth and death and transformation and, you know, the house of Scorpio of sex and things that are on a deeper level, things that are hidden in the darkness. And so I feel like with this, you know, you're going to have to be going deep into, you know, what is going on with my energy? What have I done with my energy when I connect with others that has been, you know, possibly making them, you know, not like me, or for them to like perceive it in a negative way where they're even more mad at me. You know, we want to be able to interact with anyone, and for them to even if they don't immediately react in a negative way, we want for them to really like process our energy and to like feel love after, even if they still like have like this need to hurt you. Like, you still want them to feel like they've gained love, and still like can like go home with that and like process it and like actually realize that was love. So it's on an energetic level. So when we come into our intimate relationships with others, we're gonna be like working on new ways to send that loyalty and trust to those people that we care about, so that they really know that it's like, okay, like, we're here together, and you're really here with me, and, you know, you're here with me through it all. You know, that's the energy with the 8th house. It's allowing your chi, or your life force, to emotionally move others, whether it's in a negative or positive way. It doesn't really matter. The goal is to be authentic, but we want to ascend, so we need to figure out ways to establish this like intimate and deeper connection with others, or with ourselves that's in a healthy way, where we feel energized afterwards. So that's why I really recommend looking into like how to do tantric yoga with a partner, where you cycle energy and you're constantly being recharged, instead of in your intimate relationships possibly having one person draining the other person more than, you know, so it's like unequal. Because whether we can see auras or not, there are auras and there are people unconsciously extracting energy from others. And it's hard to tell, but you can kind of tell when you feel less energized after you interact with another person. And they could be unconscious or conscious of it, doesn't matter. But anyway, and if they're conscious of it, then it's probably even more reason to leave the situation. All right, so yeah, so that's Uranus in retrograde in Taurus in the 8th house. So let's move forward to Uranus in Taurus retrograding in the 9th house in your chart. So in this situation, you are going to be challenged to evolve the ways that you philosophize about life. Maybe it may be having to do with either learning how to do this in a more authentic way, where you do it consistently. I feel like with Sagittarius, Jupiter energy, it's opening, it's showing you that you need to plant seeds in the way that you explore what's around you and what is really going on. So it's kind of opposite of Gemini. So it's like, I see Gemini as, this is just information. It's a huge cloud of information that's all connected. And then I see, Sagittarius as like, okay, but like, which ones are actually true? Like which little parts are really coinciding with the one truth, and in alignment with it. Because there's a lot of people that, have lots of information that may, like, some of it might be false and lies. That's just programming. Because in this world that we live in right now, there's a lot of people that really don't know the truth. And they know a lot of lies, though. They know a lot of lies. And so, Uranus in Taurus retrograding in the 9th house is really going to be pushing individuals to look for, like, which information, so that what of all the information they're getting, which ones are really resonating with our heart and with what our soul is calling for, and really seeing things for how they really are. So I recommend, like, maybe if this is happening in your chart, to really look into maybe like exploring more of your environment to travel, because it's good to see, like, if once you see so much, once you get more experience, once you see more, you realize, like, oh, you really can get a feel for the truth. Because if you're living inside or in Babylon or in some house and you never leave and you're in the same, city all the time, it's hard to know the real truth, because you haven't seen India, you haven't seen Spain, you haven't seen any other part of the world, you haven't, and it doesn't mean you have to go there, but there's ways to tap into, like, different environments where you can maybe even go on the internet and look up what these places look like, or to search for more information to see, like, what other information. It doesn't have to be true, but it's like having more of anything gives you more experience. And so going forward from that, you can just use your discernment with that more information to, like, decide which ones resonate more deeply with what you feel the truth to be for you. All right, so let's move to the 10th house. So if my Uranus is in Aquarius in the 10th, that's perfect. So going to talk about that one. But that's your natal birth chart. And so if you look on Astromatrix, it shows you what the current Uranus placement is and where that's lining up on your houses on your natal chart, so that you can see, like, which house it's actually, like, retrograding in. So like, which aspects of your life is seriously being impacted by this Uranus retrograde. in Taurus. So it's going to be done in a Taurus way, like, you know, planting seeds, slow, patient, and just putting it in the darkness, in the ground, and like giving it love, and just giving it love. Don't expect results like in these areas of life. Just, you know, have faith and just patience. So 10th house, Uranus and Taurus in the 10th house, I feel like is gonna be encouraging or bringing up challenges for you in pushing you to make a career or a name for yourself in society. So this is your time where you're really you're planting seeds for your current your future business and career, and so just be patient and like have faith, and really work on, I think, presenting yourself to others, because I feel like 10th house energy is not only self-development, but it's like allowing other people to know that you have reached these higher levels of development. So it's like kind of like showing yourself off, but not in a Leo way, but in like, this is how much work I've done way. Like, I actually did this work. And whether it's shadow work, whether it's light work, whatever the work it is, you know, you've been doing it, and now it's time to like start to like make something out of it, and to like really use that experience of all the work that you've done to your advantage going forward, by letting others know about it, or by making a service out of it, or just making a name out of your for yourself because of what this experience that you've gained from your craft or service, or the work that you've done with maybe your healing or your spiritual journey. Okay. Whew. I'm just channeling this. I just went on here and I was like, I'm just going to do Uranus retrograde in all the houses and just see what happens. So, in the 11th house, if Uranus and Taurus is retrograding here, I feel like, you know, it's the house of Aquarius, so it's about being able to connect with the world around you on like an intellectual level, where you can really like resonate with others. So it's like gonna really, this energy is gonna challenge you to learn how to find that middle ground with everyone, and not even just people, but like everything, like the trees, the, you know, plants, all the animals, you know, all the ecosystem as a whole, the collective. There's like, you know, higher dimensional beings, like, I'm not going to get into like what the names of them, but it's like knowing that there's other levels to this, and learning that we are all connected though. Everything, it all comes into the center of like, we are all one. So that's like, it's going to be a mental shift for you guys. And it's going to be a big one. It's going to be really, you know, if you haven't awakened yet, it's going to definitely, Uranus and Taurus is definitely going to, you know, really open your perspective to see that there's so much out there, like outside of us, but to really connect with it all, we just go inside. We close our eyes, and we can feel like how we like are everything and how important we really are on this earth. It's not exactly how they said it would be, how we're just like, you know, they wanted to, in the past, they wanted to make it out that we weren't that important. We're just a little planet in the midst of all these other planets. And, you know, we revolve around the sun. And I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole nother story. But we, you know, are more important than that. That's not the truth. Like, it's deeper than that. And I'm not going to get on sides or anything, but it's just like kind of becoming the scientist. So, you know, if your Uranus and Taurus is in the retrograding in the 11th house, you're really going to be working on like really taking notes and observing what's going on around you in a deeper way, in a more impartial way, like where you can like step aside and not take it so personally. And if something goes on, it's just like, just remove like you from it for just a minute and observe it what it is, for what it really is. So that will be the energy for the 11th house. Okay, one more. Awesome. This one pretty fast because I kind of just did a little bit for each. But so when Uranus in Taurus is retrograding in the 12th house, I feel like it's going to have to do with how we our subconscious is taking in so much around us, you know, all the time. Whatever we're consuming, we are programming our body in that way. So we need to be really mindful. If you have this energy happening in your chart, you need to be really mindful of what's going on around you and sensitive to what people are saying, like in your, you know, intimate environment, or even if it's your family, or if it's just like you're in the city and you have all these energies, you know, that around you. Find a way to like find peace in all of it, actually. And it's kind of hard. I'm not going to say it's easy, you know. Learning how to elevate your vibration and tap into your spirit more, no matter what's going on around you. But, you know, you're gonna be really triggered by like a lot of things that are happening around you, because you're gonna feel like really sensitive there, like you need to work on it, and challenged in that way. Like there's just like all this shit going on and you're just like, can you guys just shut up for just like 5 minutes? And it doesn't happen, and you're just like, well, you're just like upset about it. But like that's the problem, is that you're emotionally allowing yourself to get all upset and using your energy on that. So it's about reworking your energy so that you're utilizing it on the right things. And if you want to like express your energy, express it on in the right ways, in the right methods, you know. Listen to music or make music, or like, you know, even like meditate more, because we can't fix all these problems around us. We can't just go out and tell that person to shut up unless you want more chaos. So the solution is to like go inside and to like work on your energy to find peace and to find a state of safety and calmness and love for yourself, no matter like what's going on around you. And that's called mastering your energy, so that you can like kind of you can transmute it and use it, that energy, for productive reasons, to help others, so that those people are actually like, it's not perpetuating their problems by getting involved. It's actually like, you know, indirectly helping them, because you're helping yourself, and that's always going to help others because you're going to become more of who you are. And then when you go out and you meet new people, you're actually helping them instead of you just being all blah, blah, blah. I'm like emotional and my girlfriend bothers me and fucking bullshit. Like, you're going to actually be able to go out and help people and make them feel good, at peace. Right? Because that's what we want. That's what everyone wants. Deep down, on a deeper level. But not everyone is aware of it. So, yeah, that's, I mean, I can take questions if you guys want, but, you know, that was Uranus and Taurus retrograding in all the houses. And I'm going to put this video on the Awaken Others YouTube, and I'm going to put that in my bio so that you guys can reach it more easily, but, you know, it's in my story, and, yeah, so thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm super grateful to connect with you all, and really cool to have moved through all the houses in my own explanation, and you know, I really like what came up with those, with all of that. So thank you guys so much, and God bless.